Do you find yourself jumping into a panic or jumping to conclusions when you have any little ache and pain that you've not had before? Do you find yourself rushing to the worst case scenario if you find that, something's going on with your body that you don't recognize? Well, I don't know about you, but I know I definitely do this. So this is apparently a thing called catastrophizing, turning the situation into a catastrophe. So for those of you who don't know me, I am Karin from Karinyogalife. I'm a certified yoga instructor based in Kingston, Jamaica, and I focus on working with women over 40 who have joint pain. So today I'm going to talk a little bit about catastrophizing, if I can get the words out, and what it is and how we can manage it and how yoga can fit in. So I came across an article that talked about it and gave a lot of different tips, which I'm basically going to summarize and share with you. I will also share with you the full article in the comments. So the way that this article described catastrophizing, and I'm just going to quote from them, is that, okay, here's a quote. I use a smoke detector analogy when describing catastrophizing anxiety. Smoke detectors go off at full power whenever they detect smoke of any kind, whether it's an actual fire or just cookies burning in the oven. The catastrophizing alarm in your brain functions in the same way. It's going off at full power even when it's not an appropriate response. So I really love this analogy of the smoke detector going off at full power, even just when there is a little bit of smoke, cookies burning in the oven, and there's really not a catastrophe going on. So the way I like to think about this is that it's your lizard brain trying to protect you. It is actually a brain, a trigger that is causing your brain to go into panic mode, which is not entirely unjustified in many situations. But the issue is that catastrophizing can really send you down a panic hole of fear and anxiety, which can often lead to a greater perception of pain. If what we're dealing with is joint pain, it can lead to greater perception of pain. It can lead to this learned response or panic disorder. It can lead to depression. It's sort of this uncontrolled negative spiral of thinking when that is, when these thoughts are really not justified. So I'm not trying to say that it's wrong, or I'm judging, this habit or this tendency to come into this spiral of negative thinking. I'm just saying that from my own personal experience, it is generally not useful to allow yourself to go down this rabbit hole, at least not for too long, to be constantly thinking about, the worst case scenario when the facts really do not support your having this sort of overreaction, or allowing your lizard brain to take control of your entire being, which I know can happen. So I'm not saying that it's not justified to get worried. I'm not saying it's not justified to be concerned, or even to have a little panic moment, or a couple of moments. But what we're trying to do here is to not let ourselves go down this rabbit hole of panic. So I wanted to share with you 7 tips that come mainly from this article, but also from my own experience, to help us to deal with this tendency to catastrophize or go into this sort of unjustified rabbit hole of negative spiral thinking. So the first thing is to think about why you're having this reaction. Is it that you are overtired? Is it that you're particularly stressed right now? Are you having a flare-up from your joint pain? So I know for me, I get various joint pain things happening from time to time, and I know oftentimes my reaction is, oh my goodness, what is going on? Why is this happening again? I'm just I have a tendency to go into this panic mode because I do use my body for my work. So, but oftentimes I'm having it because I'm tired, or I am particularly stressed, or, it is a flare up. So there is a reason why this is happening. And sometimes to understand this reason really helps to manage your reaction to what's going on. So the second thing is to play it out. Think about what is really the possibilities. So maybe the worst case scenario is that you are having a flare up, that it is going to last for a couple of days or maybe longer, or you are going to have to go back to physical therapy or whatever it is. Play out what is the likely outcome of the situation, and really think up to yourself, okay, is it really that bad? Is it really that bad if I have to go back to physical therapy? Is it really that bad if, I have to deal with this for a couple of days? So really just play out the possibilities for yourself, and just think about, maybe it's really not that bad. So that's the second tip. The third thing is, and this is something that my my psychologist friend shared with me, which is that oftentimes the facts do not support the reaction that you're having to the situation. The facts just don't support it. And many times, actually most of the time, what we're worried about does not actually ever happen. So that is something that helps me, is that I think, remember that oftentimes what I'm worried about really never happens. So that actually helps a lot. And then the next thing is to thank yourself. Thank your lizard brain. Your lizard brain is trying to help you. It is trying to protect you. So just sort of say, thank you, lizard brain. But I really don't need this overreaction right now. I understand what's going on, but just sort of say thank you, but no thank you to the reaction that you're having, and just become aware of what's going on and let it go. Which actually is the next tip, which is to give yourself some space, give yourself some time to just be in acceptance of what is going on. A lot of times, at least for myself, I'm panicking about the fact that I'm panicking, if that makes any sense. So, the idea is to sort of catch yourself, say, okay, this is happening, this is the reaction I'm happening, it's okay, be compassionate with yourself, something we talk about in yoga all the time, and we practice this in yoga. Be gentle, be compassionate, non-judgmental about yourself, and say, okay, this is happening, this is the reaction I'm having, and it's okay. It's okay. Another thing that I tend to do sometimes is I take my negative thoughts and I have this imaginary basket, and I put all my negative thoughts in this imaginary basket, and I release it to the universe, and I say, okay, universe, or God, or whatever your spiritual thinking is, take these negative thoughts, take this situation, and just please deal with it for me. And I think of it that way, and I try and sort of release it to the universe, and it does help sometimes. And then lastly is to practice being present, because a lot of times this catastrophizing is really about the future. It's about thinking about what's the worst thing that could happen in the future. It's not about necessarily what's going on right now, but we're thinking ahead. We're jumping ahead to the worst case scenario. We're jumping ahead into panic mode, and it helps to just bring yourself back to the present, ground yourself, maybe do some yoga, some exercise, some meditation, some deep breathing to help you to come back to the present. And that I also find helps a lot. Just the very simple practice of deep breathing does help to calm down the whole nervous system and tell the brain that it is okay. Deep breathing has a connection to the brain that tells it that, okay, I'm breathing slower, I'm calm, everything must be okay, and that kind of gets your lizard brain back under control. So those are the 7 tips that I wanted to share with you this morning, and I'm going to also do a short breathing meditation just to teach you, if you don't know how to do a breathing meditation, which will definitely help with this whole managing catastrophizing situation. So it's just 1 or 2 minutes. Just wanted to share it with you. I find it super powerful and super simple to learn. So you're just going to sit down, sit back in your chair. If you're watching this now or if you're watching it later, close your eyes and relax. Relax the face, relax the shoulders. Just take a moment to relax your whole body. And then bring your awareness to your breath. So just visualizing the air flowing in through the nose and out through the nose. Just focusing on the breath. So of course, many times thoughts come and go. Just let them come and go, bringing back your awareness gently to your breath. Visualizing the body moving as you breathe, maybe the belly expanding and softening. And then we're going to do what's called even breathing, just inhaling for a count of 4, exhaling for a count of 4. So I will count for us to get us started. So you're just going to exhale completely. Inhale. 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 2, 3, 4. Inhale. 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 2, 3, 4. Inhale. 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. So just continue counting for yourself. And if 4 is too long, just change it to 3 or even 2. Just trying to keep the inhale about the same length as the exhale. So just try it for yourself for a minute or so. And then you can just come back to your normal breath, just breathing normally. Just see how you feel now after a few rounds of even breathing. Just check in with yourself, see if you feel any different, just noticing. And then you can take your time and just blink your eyes open, coming back to your space. So I hope these tips helped. I hope this makes sense for you. I also have a video of this breathing meditation that I will put in the comments, and you can also just download this for yourself. And I really would appreciate if you shared with me if you can relate to this, if you have your own techniques of dealing with catastrophizing. And yeah, I'm excited to see what you have to say. So thank you for joining me this morning.